New this morning, when it comes to investments in K through 12 education, Rhode Island outspends the rest of the country. That's according to a brand new report. It outlines overall spending in the Ocean State.
12 News reporter Kayla Fish combing through this report this morning joins us live with new overnight details.
Well, the nearly 30-page report was released at midnight, and it looks at how Rhode Island stacks up to the rest of New England and the rest of the nation when it comes to both revenue and spending. Now, the report was created by the Rhode Island Public Expenditure Council and uses Census Bureau data from fiscal year 2019. That's the most recent available. The report found that Rhode Island allocated the biggest chunk of its expenditures on education, significantly outspending the nation on elementary and secondary education. But the report questions whether those investments paid off, pointing out that student proficiency test scores were on par or below the rest of the country, with particularly poor outcomes for students in urban areas. The report also found Rhode Island spent less money on higher education compared to the rest of the country. And that's concerning, according to the report, since economic development and growth are tied closely to education levels. So what can be done moving forward? Well, the report also includes a series of recommendations for policymakers. It also looks at where else the state is allocating funding. We'll have more on that coming up in the next half hour. For now, live in studio, I'm Kayla Fish, 12 News.
So compared to the rest of the country, Rhode Island spends the most on elementary and secondary education.
But those investments may not be paying off. 12 News reporter Kayla Fish joining us live this morning in studio to break down this just released report.
Well, Rhode Island's student proficiency test scores are on par with or below average compared to the rest of the nation. And that's despite the state dedicating a large chunk of its spending on elementary and secondary education. Now, this is all according to a new report titled How Rhode Island Compares. It was just released at midnight, and it looks at how Rhode Island's spending stacks up to other states and what can be done to improve. So in terms of K through 12 education, the report suggests that policymakers slow the growth of total spending and focus their investments on improving student outcomes. Now, Rhode Island should also allocate more money to higher education, according to the report, since it found that the state ranked near the bottom in terms of spending and, in turn, enrollment in higher education. Now, the report also outlines the state's investments in social services, public safety, the environment, and transportation. Now, this report uses Census Bureau data from fiscal year 2019. That's the most recent available. But that means it doesn't account for the large influx of federal COVID relief money. And there's a lot packed into this document. It's about 30 pages in length. So you can find a link to the full report on our website, WPRI.com. Live in studio this morning, I'm Kayla Fish, 12 News.